All right, guys, I took a poll. I asked you a question a week ago, which is, if Oliveira and Gaethje were going to go fight, purely stand-up battle, we'll call it Muay Thai, right? You can slip in the knees and the elbows. You can do whatever you want. It's just got to be on your feet. Who would win that? 127,000 of you weighed in. 77% said Gaethje. I mean, that's massive, right? First off, 127,000 people for any poll. That's a very strong and legitimate focus group, particularly you guys who know specifically who these athletes are, what they've done, and what you're looking at. 77% favor Justin Gaethje to win under the rules that we laid out, which was just stand up. I went to something called BetDSI. BetDSI, as of right this moment, has Charles Oliveira the favorite. Charles Oliveira is the favorite. Now, those two polls can't go hand in hand. If Justin Gaethje is going to win a stand-up battle and Charles Oliveira is the favorite, what we're saying is that this fight isn't going to be fully contested on the feet. Do you guys agree with that? Am I wrong with my prediction and telling you? I really think this fight is going to be a lot like Gaethje versus Eddie Alvarez, Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier, in terms of the bludgeoning, but more specifically, the realm they're going to do it at. I just am so impressed with Justin Gaethje's anti-wrestling. I get that he was a great wrestler. I remember that he had his college paid for. I remember he was 5th in the NCAA, but he doesn't use that wrestling for anything other than defense, which was never on display more than his very last match against Michael Chandler. Chandler wanted that fight on the ground. Chandler did everything right. Chandler's wrestling was perfect. The measuring, the distance, the level change, the closing of distance, where his hands went, the explosion within his hips, his head play, everything was right by Chandler. Never got Gaethje down. That's very meaningful, because I will concede to anybody that is pro Tony, and I'm not making my pick right now. I'm just guessing what realm are they going to fight in for a later analysis on the prediction of who's going to win. I've been extremely impressed with Oliveira's takedowns. He brought those on display against Tony Ferguson. Went for 3 takedowns, got all 3, did a great job of keeping him there. That was a surprise for me. I did not know Oliveira was strong enough with those takedowns, and those takedowns specifically were double legs. Shot 3 double legs, got Tony into the fence, lift him up off the ground, put him down. I get that, but are you telling me that those double legs, even the best offensive wrestling attack of Charles Oliveira, his absolute best attack, is better than the absolute best attack of Michael Chandler? That would be hard for me to agree with. Very hard. If you don't think this fight is going to be on the feet, then I'm asking you, who's going to take it to the ground? First off, is that going to be Oliveira? Yes, Oliveira would like to get it to the ground. That's not what I asked you. I didn't ask you if he would like to get it to the ground. Do you believe that he can? Be a big deal. And if you're saying yes, you're in the minority. So say it really loud, because you're going to look really good when this fight is over if you turn out to be right. I think that Gaethje could get it to the ground anytime he wants. I have no confidence that he's going to try that ever. I cannot remember a Justin Gaethje fight, and I have seen them all. I called all of his fights personally, sitting there, ringside, with a microphone when he was in the World Series of Fighting. And when I tell you I've seen all of his fights, I cannot recall a time. If it happened, I don't remember it. I cannot remember a time ever that he went for a takedown. And if Justin Gaethje is the one to go for the takedown, Justin's going to win the rest of that round. He's not going to get swept. He's not going to get submitted. He's not going to get grounded. I got to hear about the elbows all the time of Charles Oliveira, right? I know that that's a fun thing to talk about. If your guy is on bottom, that's not where you want him. No matter how many times you want to pretend, oh, I want him on bottom. He's got a black belt in this, or he's got an elbow from that. No matter how many times you say it, if you like and you're cheering for a guy, you do not want him on bottom. So these polls don't go together, right? The actual handicappers, the actual place you walk up to the window, you put your money down, which is favoring Oliveira, is in direct conflict with the poll that we just did with 127,000 people that say if it was a stand-up only battle, it favors Gaethje. Those two don't go hand in hand, which means somebody out there is placing bets out a window that, one, either doesn't agree with us. They think that the stand-up battle favors Oliveira. It might. I, by the way, don't know the answer to this question. I'm just asking based on what you've seen before. What do you guess? I think Oliveira is really good on his feet, maybe even a little better than we give him credit for. If you'll remember back to Oliveira versus Poirier, I mean, Poirier can box as well as anybody can. I remember when there was a conversation going around in this sport, who is the sport's absolute best boxer? And it came down to 2 people. We had a lot of very good boxers, but it came down, you guys, it came down our community to two people, Conor McGregor and Max Holloway. For the sport's absolute best boxers, Dustin Poirier went out and boxed Max Holloway for 25 minutes and won. I believe Dustin won every round. If I'm wrong, it was 4 rounds to 1. The point is he proved that he was a better boxer than Max. Okay, great. Dustin was never in the conversation that we had started for the best boxer, but now it appears that he just might be. And Oliveira went with him. He went very nicely. There was a lot of moments that he won. There was a lot of exchanges that he won. Oliveira's really good on his feet. I do not dismiss him. But I don't think that that's why the line is favoring Oliveira. I think it's because the line thinks that Oliveira is going to take Justin Gaethje down. That's a hard sell, in my opinion. That's a very hard sell. That Oliveira, who's never wrestled before, he's got good wrestling, but he's never wrestled before, can do something that Chandler, who has great wrestling, couldn't do. For me, it's a little bit of a stretch. I don't know. This is between those boys. I'm just bringing you guys two different polls that conflict with one another. So as time and space goes away and the fight gets closer and closer, have you changed your mind?